All right, so what you have in front of you is third, fourth, and fifth graders. So we have one third grader, Hunter Molina. The other third grader is out sick today, so he couldn't come. We have two fourth graders in Kaylee and DJ, and then we have two fifth graders in Sophia and Ryan, and they have been participating in Lego robotics. And these five all participated in Lego robotics actually the first semester. There's a different group of kids coming to Lego Robotics that started in January. Of these five, DJ is the only one who's still in it. They all moved on to Math and Art Fusion. So they moved on to another project. So they worked on Lego Robotics. And so what we kind of learned is like, all kids love Legos. They love building things. Lego Robotics brought it to a different level for these guys. It involves computers and coding. These guys are going into a world that doesn't even exist as of right now. 65% of the new jobs every year that come out involve computers and coding. The majority of the jobs that these guys will apply for in 10 to 15 years don't even exist yet, which is scary to think about. That, you know, we're having to prepare them for a job that doesn't exist. How do you prepare them for that? So they got to learn coding, the starting of coding this year, doing something they love in building Legos. And so they've each taken some time today and they rebuilt their favorite builds from that they built last semester. And they just kind of want to show you guys what they learned and how it works. You want to go, Sophia? Yeah, so tell them. You want the microphone so you can be loud? You have to use your big voice otherwise.
So what I built was so what I made was from last semester was one of my favorites, and it's called Taxi Taxi. We how how I coded the motors to make the tires move. So like I also coded it to make a car sound. We could also with the motor, you know, we could make the the, the
Taxi?
yeah, the taxi, the tires, the back tires, we could make them go for a certain amount of time, or we can make them go forward or backwards, and we could set it to a certain angle so it can move. Or yes, we got to decide. We got to decide on we could do whatever one we want. I decided to do my favorite, and this is the taxi.
You know it's yours. You need to speak something? No. No?
From last semester, I built one of my favorites, which was the bus, and it works by two motors. One of the back motor works with the left wheel, and the big motor works to power everything to make it run. And then I added some noises, which was a honk, and I built like a little cone, and the side sensor, it's called a sensor, and it like when it goes really close to the blue part, the red, or the pink part, it lights up.
So what she's talking about is she has this sensor on the back here is her motor. Um, This is like the battery pack that powers it. This is her motor that's making the wheels turn. This sensor is like a color sensing sensor. So when it passes in front of certain things, she can make it stop, or she can make it start, or it might, if she puts lights on it, the lights will flash, just depending on how she chooses to build it.
Yeah. It was fun. This was my favorite build from last semester. It was called Big Little Helper. It's a robot that could pick up like little things if there's like trash on the ground and move it to certain places. And it was worked by, there's 2 motors that have the wheels connected to it. And and I guess that's it. Yeah. And
Catch it, because I'm not going to catch it. Good job, Ray. Great job.
My favorite build from last semester was the cable car because I liked how it like moves. It's like the channel. The motor makes it move from the thing to thing, and I can actually switch it around. And
Great job.
yeah. My no. My favorite thing from last semester was the cave car, and it it can't move, but it has like a light and the front, and it could like have like different colors, but right now I set it to blue, and then I could change it to like green or purple. And then the reason how it works is because it's connected to the hub, and it like makes the hub makes it like light up.
Good job. Not today. They have in the past. The room has turned into chaos sometimes with cars racing each other. It also turns into chaos when they start playing with the sounds, and I get like, because you can create your own sounds as well as the ones that are in the program. So we get cars that when they come to a stop, fart and all kinds of other random noises that they come up with. Great job today. I am deeply impressed with the way you came up, that you talked and presented your robots. So they also have to present, and phenomenal. Thank you guys. Ooh, good thing we're taking it apart anyway, huh?
Yeah, this is Laura, he's a senior. He's currently from law university as well. And I asked him to be our high school rep. He may be accomplishing a big punch on top of that. So I agree. It's not an easy thing to do to present from the board. So we're going to go to the very good job.
Welcome to school. I'm sorry tonight we're not having a meeting, but we're excited to have you. And how's the golf season going?
It's going okay. We haven't tried anything.
Yes, well, welcome. And if you have any questions or anything, speak up. We're
Yeah,
very
here's
excited.
the talking point.
Of course, yeah.
You know, that wasn't enough for 6 months.
All right. Okay. So again, my name is Nicholas Zamora. I'm a senior at the high school. So just to do a quick overview of how this year's going, I think the year's going pretty good. I think that interactions between teachers and students and staff has all been pretty good for the most part. I haven't heard of any negative situations or conflicts of anything of that matter. And I think engagement of Mr. Gropp. Mr. Gropp's been doing a great job. You know, a little bonus will never hurt, but no, of course not. But he's been doing a great job, honestly, of interacting with students and being seen in the hallways and whether it be like different sports events and stuff like that. Going on, so we all know that the high school went on lockdown last week. I think there should probably be some improvements on how things like that nature are handled. There were some classes and students that were really freaking out and didn't really know what was going on. And so they were obviously very distraught and emotional. So I think there might need to be some aspects of, I don't know, I'm not familiar on the school policy for stuff like that, but I think that there probably needs to be some work on what to do or what the protocol is when events like that do happen. We have higher test scores this year, so that's always great. Not to brag or anything, but the senior class does have the highest test scores in ELA, so, class of 25. And so, yeah, that's all I have. Any board have any questions for me that I could answer? Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Again, I just want to stress that we are not discussing board positions tonight. However, I will have to, and so I want to take the here to come up. I just need to go over some of the school stuff. So the board providing opportunity to either agenda items or items in order to ensure that students can have an opportunity to the board provide us the approval by the designated public speaker time. The board president will recognize speakers in proper order and ensure adherence to the limit of 30 minutes for all public speakers and maximum 5 minutes. The president may also set a time limit of less than 5 minutes for individual speakers based on the number of requests. Questions or facts asked by the public shall, when appropriate, be answered by the president or referred to the person replied. No action or discussion shall transpire among the board members regarding questions requiring investigation report to the board. Questions or comments on matters of our personal personal attacks on board members, staff, personnel, or other persons are acted by individuals to address the board or district. Confidential personnel matters regarding a specific employee, except for the person or the employee supervisor. We also request that you not discuss students who are not your own child. Presenters are cautioned that statements or representations concerning others that contain unjustly unfavorable impression is subject to for the safety of yourself and others, signs and factors are not permitted in the boardroom. However, you're invited to express your free public working in different before the writing. So I have this Tanya Oshie and this on the and every day.
Okay, I first want to say that I'm here to advocate for my child. I am in no way pointing fingers or placing blame. But as mentioned, my name is Tanya Ortiz, and I come before you first and foremost for advocation for my son, Jaden Gonzalez, and on behalf of the other students and parents that have come forth and brought awareness to me about their situation where they've experienced similar issues with bullying at the Cobre High and Snow Middle School. Me, as a concerned parent, I believe it's crucial to bring these issues to light and to advocate positive changes that will ensure the safety and well-being of students. On March 5th, my son Jaden's life changed. He became a victim, and I call him a survivor of a violent attack while at school. He was viciously attacked by a student that has a known history of violence. Prior to the physical attack, he was verbally bullied, and he was led to believe that there was no other choice than to engage in confrontation in order to defend himself and stop the bullying. My son has never been exposed to any type of violence in his life, and he was not aware that his choice to follow that student and confront him in the bathroom would lead to him being assaulted. Because of this attack, my son endured facial stitches and head sutures. He now has a journey to recovery, including mental trauma, where he is now afraid of his safety to return to Cobre High due to social media posts threatening retaliation. The attack, in my opinion, did not need to happen. After viewing the video and seeing what happened, I do not see any adult anywhere in the proximity of where this attack took place. I'm also concerned that the student that instigated the fight was wearing a tactical vest during school hours. And though it may not be a violation of a dress code policy, I am concerned that no one was alerted by his choice in attire. Given that this particular student does have a history of violence, possible gang affiliation, and I was also made aware of his contact with law enforcement 2 days prior to assaulting Jaden. Though I know the district is not in control of what students do while not under their supervision, I have to question why there was nobody monitoring. After the incident, my child attempted to reach me. He made numerous calls to my phone. Thankfully, he was able to reach my older son, who was able to respond and show up to the school. I was in the middle of a court hearing because of my job, so I did not have my cell phone present, but thankfully his brother was able to respond. And I also want to say that when I got to my phone and I was able to look at it, there was no calls from the high school. I did receive a call, though it was 5 hours after the situation. And so my concern is also if my oldest son wasn't able to respond, I didn't know what was going on with my kid. And it left me with the most chaotic thoughts and fear as I drove from my court hearing to Cobre High. When I got there, I was greeted by the chief of police from the Bayard Police Department, and I also had an opportunity to speak over the phone with the nurse who told me that my son is transported to the hospital by EMS because he may require stitches. When I got to the hospital, I saw my son covered in blood, his eyelid split, and profuse bleeding from his head. Jaden described to me and takes full accountability of his participation in what happened and his choice to not seek out help rather than corresponding with that person. But at the same time, after the situation occurred, he was told by the principal to stop off to the side. And again, he was hit by that student. So there was no person there to subdue that child. My son also disclosed to me that he believes that he smelled alcohol on that student's breath, which is also another concern how no one was noticed. I just want to address the issue of student security. Our kids need to feel safe while they're at school. There's too many issues where people are being threatened and abused while in the care of the school district. Another pressing issue is the inaccurate information that came through the district text. There was a message sent out that the school is on lockdown and no one was injured. My son was injured. You don't have to, though in-depth details do not need to be disclosed. I understand not wanting to alarm the community, but inaccuracy is also unacceptable. We must implement more stringent checks on information before it's sent out to ensure its accuracy. Clear, concise, and fact-check communication is crucial to maintaining the trust of our school community. In my mind, an ideal school environment is a partnership between parents and educators, and we must do more to build and foster that partnership. And because of my son's situation, other parents and students have stepped up to talk about their experiences with that same student and his group of friends. And I know that law enforcement quickly reacts and continues to secure the school when necessary, but they're not security. And that's not what they're meant for. There needs to be security on campus of Snow Middle School and Cobre High School. And accompanying me today is another family that has undergone the trauma and been targeted by the same student as well as his group of friends. And these kids do not feel safe attending Cobre schools. I strongly urge the board to prioritize the well-being of our students and families by dealing with these issues head on. So thank you for your time.
Good evening, board members. My name is Christopher Amador, and I'm a proud parent of students who attend Snow Middle School and Bayard Elementary. My wife and I, along with other parents, are here tonight to address our concerns regarding gangs, bullying, violence, and threats of violence that seem to be plaguing our district. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak tonight. As a resident of the Cobre District and as a parent, I'm here to share my perspective and experiences with the board on these issues. First and foremost, my primary concern is that the Cobre District and law enforcement partners aren't doing enough to ensure that our students are safe and secure at school. The incident that occurred last week at the high school is a prime example of this and is the reason why we're here tonight. I realize that I cannot mention the student by name, but this specific student has been a known problem and has terrorized not only our children, but the community as a whole. He has actively engaged in gang activity, committed violence against others, and has even injured himself by accidentally shooting himself in the leg with a firearm. Very recently, he attacked another juvenile, pulled out a knife during the attack. Before the incident at the high school, there have been countless reports made about this student to both Cobre schools and law enforcement. We as parents did our part, but unfortunately, the district and law enforcement didn't do theirs. After everything that occurred with this student, he was still allowed to come onto school property, possibly armed, wearing a military-style tactical vest, and assault another student. Furthermore, Cobre schools and law enforcement officials want to make the children who have been victimized and bullied into the perpetrators. Instead of taking accountability for their gross inaction and incompetence, they want to blame the students who have been assaulted. A few months back, after being threatened and bullied numerous times, my son finally had to defend himself, and even though he was not the aggressor, he was the only one who got in trouble and was placed on probation, and the incident was directly related to this one student and his group of want-to-be gangsters. We realize that there is not a magical solution to solving this problem, for it is not an issue unique to our district, but more needs to be done to ensure our children's safety. My son should not be scared to go to school. Instead of focusing on academics, my son has to focus more on protecting himself from violence and bullying. Our kids should feel safe at school, and us as parents should feel comfortable sending our kids to school. But at this time, that is not the case. To address this issue, we as parents respectfully demand that the district strictly enforce its already in place zero tolerance policy against bullying, harassment, and intimidation. We want the district to make our children's safety a priority. I believe that certain events could have been prevented if the district had taken things a little more seriously. Thank you for your time and consideration.